Auth0 is now configured and knows about our application. Now we need to shift our attention back to our application and make code and configuration changes there to make it work with our Auth0 account. I'll be showing this mostly in a demo, but I want to clarify things on beforehand, show you the steps that we'll need to do in the upcoming demo. And let's walk through these steps one by one. First, what I'll do is let our Blazor WebAssembly application know about the Auth0 settings we copied in the previous demo. This will be the client ID and the authority, values that we got while walking through the configuration of our application in Auth0. Then, we need to add the package I introduced you earlier to in this module, so the Microsoft ASP.NET Core Components WebAssembly Authentication package. We use Auth0, but since that is an OIDC provider, the authentication package works fine with it. Another JavaScript file reference is also needed in the hosting page, so the host.cshtml, I will add a script reference to the authentication service.js file, which comes bundled with the authentication package. With support for the NuGet package, we can now call an extension method, the add OIDC authentication, in our program.cs, pointing back to the settings in the app settings.json. Next, we'll head to the app razor, where we'll wrap everything in a cascading authentication state. That'll be a cascading parameter that contains information about, well, the authentication state for other components to use. Remember, cascading parameters are available in nested components, so since we wrap everything on the app razor level, this information can be used by all components in the application. We'll also use the author view in the app razor. Finally, we're going to use a few new components, authentication razor and authentication status.razor. I say new components, but you can in fact find the code for these almost in a newly created project that we create on Visual Studio with authentication enabled. I will show you this in the demo. In short, authentication razor will be used to handle the different authentication stages, and authentication status will be used to show either a login button or a logout button combined with the currently logged in username. A lot of functionality around authentication comes with Blazor built in, which may make it seem sometimes that things are happening, well, magically. I can totally relate to that. It does feel like that sometimes. But that is because a lot of stuff is already there. One such default behavior is that, for example, when we hit a component where the authorize attribute is applied, we will be redirected to the authentication/login if the user isn't authenticated yet. That can then be handled by the just mentioned authentication page, which will, because of configuration, redirect to Auth0. After a successful login, users will be redirected back to our application, back to the authentication/login callback. And when our application loads this endpoint, the authentication response is processed for us automatically, resulting in the token being available for our application.